Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali, I just can't sleep this evening, so I've been wanting to share what's going on right now, and I might as well. Let's get right into it, okay? This is a photo of the damage at the Chernobyl sarcophagus. I don't know if it's stainless steel, but I do believe it's a stainless steel sarcophagus that they built over Chernobyl to replace the concrete one that the still fissioning, well, I can't say it's fissioning, but still, it's still releasing the energy from the nuclear catastrophe that never got to be a full meltdown that happened back in, I do believe, 1986, but don't quote me on that one. All I know, it was, according to our human calculation of time, a very short while ago, but then again kind of a long while ago. But for the radiation itself, it's a snap of the fingers. Stuff can last for upwards of 450 billion years, which is 300 and something years longer than they calculate that the entire planet has been in existence. And so with this drone, that unmanned drone, which I find really creepy, but it's perfectly in keeping with what these dudes do, because what they hide and don't talk about is even creepier, is a Russian drone that blasted a hole into the side of the sarcophagus. And you know, of course, I'm going to have many different conclusions as to why they do this, because of the fact that they don't talk about what they are doing. And so just sit back, relax. It's going to be a long one, because there's a whole bunch of stuff that is integral to understanding what these devils do and how they're doing it. And Trump, in his, acceptance of the presidency, in his swearing-in ceremony, didn't even put his hand on the Bible. Not that they didn't lie before when they did. And the entire European Christian faith is just based on how to get away with lies, as Constantine had planned it when he said that, using the Bible, this is the way that we win, with the Council of Nicaea. Yeah, they've always lied. So he didn't, but he's like fessing up to it. So for a devil, that's actually a step up, because we all could see, like, why in the world would they doctor the photo so Melania's hand, even in the image you get from Getty Images with their credit on it, Maury Gash, is obviously AI to look like a demon hand. So these folks are confessing, and as I also noted, in the color scheme they have. And anybody who would do some stupid crap like this to freak people out would not overlook the color scheme, which is red, black, and green. So I'm just saying, he's actually being really honest here, admitting that I'm a devil, because I have absolutely no plans on doing anything that is upright and honorable in any regard. I'm going to fool everybody. That's why they also have this Melania chick who, I mean, this is so friggin' Photoshopped that even white women noticed that it was completely disingenuous. But this whole thing is as above, so below. It was obviously on purpose a black and white photo, and the mirrored table down at the bottom, it's that red, black, and green. They know what they're about. I've noted it in many of the movies, including, I forget, Dr. Strangelove, how they had the James Earl Jones character coming up from below the aircraft that was going to drop a nuclear bomb on Russia, coming up from below, because the whole they'll always put out their plans. I'll put it in the thumbnail at the end. I highly recommend, if by chance you haven't seen it, the analysis I did on the Netflix movie White Noise, where that was just, I mean, the movie was just a precise confession on their part of what they're doing. I mean, these people they're at a point of utter desperation, which is why they're doing this, because the entire thing going on with Trump is a resurrection of the white man's reputation. But the only way he gained his reputation is through devilish subterfuge, just being evil. That's it. It's simple, okay? And they've been planning these different strategies for a long time. It's gotten complicated because lies are always complicated. When you're dealing with real people, there are actually, in my estimation, they're not our people. I don't get it twisted, but not every white person wants to bow down to the devil. It's just that they're easily beguiled and manipulated. It's been proven. Dr. Shi let me know that with L. Ron Hubbard's Dianetics, they have what he called this E6 machine or something that will test they give it a rationale that sounds like it makes sense, but it's simply testing exactly how gullible you are, with the Freemasons and all the rest of it. They're really gullible white folks, because in general, evil is not something you want to agree with. Demons even want to know the truth. When you're dealing with folks who you can't tell if they're lying 1 second to the next, even for people who think they want to be in that coven, they don't want to be in that coven. You can't trust a word that's being said. And so these folks with their separate ways, they're trying to resurrect the reputation of white man, because they've been passing around the lie that everybody hates us without contemplating, well, exactly why. And how punked out are you that you can't just fess up and say, I don't want just a narrative of freedom, liberty, and justice for all. I want the truth of it. Why would you prefer a society based on the myth that you are, some Magna Carta, Me Too, hashtag from before Me Too Magna Carta, when you really don't mean that? If that means all the people you are destroying to build this nation in the shortest time frame of any so-called civilized nation that's ever existed, if you don't want them to be free, if you constantly got to make these comparisons because you just can't stand black folks, black us, that daggone much, that you then, oh boy, they want Satan then, they want evil then. No, that's not what Allah built existence using. He used truth all the way through. And the truth is black, because you cannot withstand the forces of what this universe has got to offer, what existence has got to offer, unless you're capable of taking all energy and rendering it into something positive, something fortifying, something like the black man and the black woman. I'm just saying, right? There's science behind everything I just said, but I'm not getting into that portion of it. Now, with this photo that they took of the drone damage, it really doesn't matter. When I look at, and especially, I highly recommend reading the book. I'll go get it. The Crime of Chernobyl, the Nuclear Gulag, written by Vladimir Chertkov. And it's another one where obviously I went through this sucker with a fine-tooth comb because it was just so much data. And so you could understand just how duplicitous these folks have been in reporting horror of Chernobyl. And if you study the dynamics of radiation, you'll understand that this steel sarcophagus isn't going to do very much to stop anything. That's why they had to get rid of the concrete one, because it was crumbling under the heat of the radiation that's still escaping from that facility. Can you imagine a concrete building? And all nuclear reactors must be decommissioned according to the science. Because what building do you know that after 50 years you have to move out because it's crumbling to pieces? I mean, buildings do fall apart, but not like that, where everybody has to move out, the whole thing has to be shut down. The entire lie of AI, where the energy required in order to fuel the exponentially increasing energy that AI requires to keep doing, I think they call it distillation, where it's constantly taking in information in order to feed its algorithmic conclusions. It doesn't think, it's not thinking. But it's just doing calculations back and forth, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, blah, 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 so on and so forth. It's always needing energy. And so they're proposing using old nuclear reactors. Why? Because they don't give a goddamn. You should not, it's not like they've changed the science of these old reactors. No, they haven't. They just are devils. And they don't give a damn. They know they have destroyed everything. So they don't care. They know that this steel sarcophagus can't last. It can't last. It doesn't matter if it's steel, if it's concrete. That's why they don't have one over Fukushima. Because there's so much radiation still pummeling out of that sucker that this thing, even if they put steel over it, I don't know if these things, even when they're working, only last 50 years. When they're not working, and they're 3 of the largest nuclear reactors that have had a complete meltdown, melt through, I would say that sucker off of Fukushima would last maybe 5-10 years. And then they'd have to replace it at a place where probably nobody has really gone to that site in the last, I don't know, 5 years or something, unless it's the homeless people. Then they just, ask the Yakuza, could you bring us some more homeless? And I'd imagine there's none left in Japan. All right, I'm just saying, I haven't done research on that, but whoa, when you do the research on what they were advising even their elderly to do, can you move on back to Fukushima so you can encourage the youth, or you just go there and die, and, then that's good, because you're going to die anyway. There's all sorts of wild stuff going on. So with these, no sarcophagus over Fukushima, and there won't be one ever. These devils, they know they've lost. There's so much obliterating data. I recommend listening to a couple shares. It's difficult because he can speak in a circuitous fashion, like almost, like spontaneous poetry. But Kevin Blanch, he will give a lot of very helpful information about what's going on. I definitely disagree. I don't know. I haven't watched it, but I saw a title where he said that Trump is anti-nuclear. No, he's not. No, he's not. I'm just saying with respect. Hell no, he's not. He is simply there to resurrect the reputation of white men using deviltry. Okay? So that he will lie and say, oh yeah, no, I want peace with Russia, when they knew all along that this is exactly what they have. They cannot stop the war because they cannot put the Fukushima genie back into those nuclear reactors. All the death, and that was what I was recommending Kevin Blanch and Dana Durnford. He's had a slew of recent lives, Dana, where he's gone over all of the massive quantities of dead creatures that everything started out on the Pacific, but the radiation doesn't stand still, so you got sharks washing up dead and the scientists are befuddled. You've got an epic rise in sharks eating people in the Caribbean islands. And it's all been since Fukushima, because the radiation comes down on the rain also, and it's just the die-off in the oceans because it's magnetically drawn to water has been incredible. That's why you see so many creatures that were in the depths of the ocean rising up, and you never saw oarfish swimming around before. And thank you, dear sister Nisha, who you sent me a link to another creature that they never seen it like that. Well, down in the Caribbean, them sharks are hungry. All these creatures are hungry. They're not stupid. They're going to want to eat. They're not going to just stay in one place and figure, oh, well, there you go. I'm just going to starve to death. No. They're going to go to places they've never been before. So I highly recommend Kevin Blanche and Dana Durnford to just have more sources besides me who can give you that data, because there's so many other aspects of this that I uniquely report on. Right? So kudos to them. I ain't mad at people just for having pink skin. That would be stupid. I'm looking at your deeds. Right? And the Most High, Allah said, he's not coming for the individual, he's coming for the principalities. It's just that white people are so friggin' in love with their own lies that the overwhelming majority of them, as soon as the concept that black us are going to do for self gets out there, they start freaking out across the board. Right? And so Dr. She had said that, white people, they have sold out to the devil for a pickup truck and some cores. Okay? They used to fight, but they ain't fighting no more. Right? Especially in hella weird, or what used to be hella weird, which, by the way, they are not rebuilding where the fires were. I even saw another article in the completely satanic, in my firm conclusion, Daily Mail, because they just had an article about Freemasons, and I was like, Freemasons even admit that they worship Satan. Okay, I'm just saying, it's what they said. But yeah, they had an article where they were saying that, why? It's been weeks now and they're not cleaning anything up because it's a radioactive evacuation zone. That's what I said. It's so simple. If they ever do rebuild, I bet you it'll be the Chinese buying up that property. Okay? That's exactly the only people that they would be like, oh yeah, come on in, Chinese people. Okay? And I'm not... Good luck to the Chinese people, but I'm just saying, they ain't our people. Definitely. And they are falling to pieces. Do not believe the propaganda, because most likely that's coming from the CCP, that everything is copacetic over there, because it's not. It's falling to pieces. The starvation time is happening slowly and increasingly. That's how badly run tyranny inevitably becomes. And I'm not even just saying from the Chinese, from the CCP, from all of these tyrants, even ones who pretend they're no longer tyrants like Trump. Okay? Not that Trump ain't no level of devil is going to get me to run to another level of devil. So no to Kamala, no to the Democrats, because they are just as vile and just as deceptive as the Republicans, as Trump is. Okay? So that's all is Trump is just out there fooling people. Matter of fact, let me show you another article. This is fascinating. Right here, this is a defunct website, but it is from the White House and old President Barack Obama. The United States Digital Service. Do you know what this was renamed as? Department of Government Efficiency. DOGE, whatever the heck they use that an acronym as one word to say. But the outfit that Elon Musk, who's a freaking super racist South African, right? So many of them are exactly like him, where they make up whole cloth lies about what they're doing in South Africa, acting like they were just like, it's theirs. They've been there for thousands and thousands of years. But then they'll invite a bunch of immigrants from other parts on up to Europe, and suddenly they're shooting the place up. They're having a friggin' hissy fit. Oh, but no, down in South Africa, it's them black Africans who are treating the Afrikaners, the white people, so badly. It's just, like I say, they plan these things out forever. But anyway, so this right here, the United States Digital Service, this was set up under lawful means by Obama because his Obamacare website crashed. I would say it didn't crash by accident. All right. And so this was left upstanding, enacted, or by Trump, which when you think about it is very strange, as much as he seemed to just despise Obama. But he's the one who changed it to the acronym DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. It sort of sounds like something where you make the trains run on time. Really, how convenient. Not like a troubleshooting department, which is what it was originally set up to be. So this particular service here, this digital service, because it was by law considered a temporary, repair type of framework, and by the government laws that's allowed, it was changed. So it gained, while it was United States Digital Service, absolute access to every single computer center government-wide. That's why DOGE can go in there and see all the text messages from every single government agency ever. So you got this friggin' foreign dude, Elon, up everybody's behind in places where, I'm sorry, they're not just using this to get rid of the people that all of us have been told, oh, that's the bad one over there. I am so not pro-wokery. I am so not pro-Alphabet City. They're using this stuff in covert means to accomplish things that aren't going to be published in the papers, because a lot of the papers are owned by the Chinese, and the Chinese are working tyrants. They work together against the people. They do things to increase chaos because they accomplish so much more during chaos. But they need Trump to come out looking like he's not a liar, when he admitted right, yeah, that's exactly what he is. And it's not because it's his second presidency, because I showed the other pictures where first presidency, second presidency. First presidency, second presidency. Okay? They're putting their hand on the Bible. Like I said, they all lie anyway. But this time around, Trump knows what he's about. And so does his demon wife, okay? I'm just saying. It's just like this guy. They put a lot in the imagery they put out there. And here you got King Charles looking just like, the portrait of, I can't remember, Dorian Gray, where it was just, it's demonic on purpose. Here goes the monarch butterfly, which if you watched Dana's share, you would know there's almost none left. Okay? But it's the monarch. And they're trying to say cryptically, but it's so obvious because they're desperate that the white man is about his whole ability to do the subterfuge evil he does is about to be wiped out of existence. Why? Because we're going to attack them? No. It's because they won't stop being the principality of evil. I mean, here you have the dude who's been confirmed as head of the FBI. Remember the same place that said that having affinity for the skin you were born into and the people who share that skin is dangerous. It's identity politics, but at the same time, they constantly play identity politics and commit genocide by not reporting that there are remedies for eating radiation and breathing it in. They don't tell anybody. Their scientists are just mystified and befuddled. Okay, so Kash Patel has been confirmed as head of the FBI. He's this, Indian guy in the background. You notice the Indians are coming. There's a lot of stuff. I wish all the best to Indian people. But they're not like us. They have a different motivation altogether, and they've been strategically placed in certain areas because they've chosen the ones, same way they chose Diddy and they chose, the guy who's married to the chick who won't get rid of the blonde hair. I can't remember his name, but if you're in the room with him, you're magically freed as a black person. I can't stand him that much. I actually forgot his name. But they're the same way that they pick black people who are open, Jay-Z, who are open to the program, and because they're just greedy like that, and they think it's some sort of compliment to be able to lord over people your riches, when no, that's a sign of your stupidity, and because that fancy house ain't gonna save you from a radioactive planet. Right? Even Zuckerberg, no matter how far down in the earth he goes, he cannot escape those earthquakes. Do you know that the Earth's core, they have determined recently, has become deformed in its shape? Those are those molten cores. They're causing severe disassembly of our very planet, right? And so, because black us have an overwhelming tendency to prefer the truth, they're replacing us in the depths of where they are going to excoriate who we are. They are replacing us with colored people because they've already primed us to accept that as another, for those people who are a little uncomfortable being called black. No, embrace the black. Embrace it. Because as soon as you start saying silly stuff like, but we're really more brown, then you start identifying with folks who will be more than happy to see you wiped out of existence. We are not like them. I hate to quote Kendrick Lamar because he ain't nothing but another one of them operatives, in my firm conclusion. Right? Ask his light-skinned wife about that he always, whenever he has her in his videos, she's always in the dark, so you can't identify that, chick is just light-skinned. You ain't really into the black. Okay? So they have put these folks in here, and this guy, Cash Patel, whoa, super Procyon loader in ways that Dance Owens could only read it and weep. She could, even her, as bad as she is, and she's the only kind of black person that Trump would ever have anywhere near him, right? Other than just for a quick visit. They have to bring in these guys because they are so, especially the brown skin ones, right? The deep ones. Beautiful. They're beautiful people. But they hate being easily identified with the Dalit. I don't know if Cash Patel is or isn't, but I know in India that is the biggest consumer of skin bleaching protocols anywhere. Okay? And of the myth that just because you are brown, you're ugly. You could have the most exquisite features. To me, when you're brown and deeper, you actually look better. That's my personal preference. Right? If you pink, I ain't got anything against you. Pink on pink, love, do you. Okay? But I'm just saying, for me, black, because I love the skin that the Most High put me in, you can't get black enough for me. Right? But not with these guys. Not these guys. No. Right? So he wrote this children's book, The Plot Against the King. Wrote this in 2022. Okay? He also wrote another book that, from the reviews I saw, that it's really a bunch of phoniness, where he's supposed to be talking about the shadow government, the dark web or whatever, and he doesn't say a daggone thing about it. And he doesn't mention a certain country that's pulling the puppet strings of all these nations, but they're not the full, complete heads of all that's going on. They've just been gaslit, so they think that they are. This is all about the nothingness. That's where all these folks are going. They know it, and that's even a doctrine that some of them will promote that I've talked about. They had another Netflix movie that I think was called The Church, and they'll say these things like Zuckerberg on one of his t-shirts. He had there, written, "It's Caesar or it's nothing." And in this documentary, they also say it's Jesus. Or what? No, they said Jesus equals nothing. This is a whole nother doctrine of the Satanists in terms of there's factions of them who want everything destroyed. I mean, god dang, you go to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, and not that but I've had alcoholics in my family, so I've gone to the, like those who will secretly support the alcoholics and what they do, and found out that, they always say you get to the point where you've had one car wreck too many, and that's when you snap out of it and you say, I'm not doing that anymore. This is harming everybody and everything. Well, I conclude there's enough demons out there that's why they're freaking out, admitting all that they admit, where you could, I mean, come on. As above, so below. Melania Trump? You can find naked pictures of that chick. Right? And she's doing the power moves and with a super AI'd image. Black and white? Stop. Right? These people they're insane. They're psychopaths. To just vent, not even tell people that the sarcophagus on top of Chernobyl is a racket. It's not going to work, and they know that. They just probably did that drone thing because I'd already gotten other reports that said the scientists were worried that the whole thing was going to explode because they weren't venting the noble gases with a sarcophagus over Chernobyl that was complete and didn't allow anything out. Right? And so this is what they get accomplished in war. I'm just saying. I mean, right up over about here, or over here, I think, is where Chernobyl is. It's in the Ukraine, all right? Right up here, there's the Black Sea down there. And look over here, is Moscow. And then over here is also in Belarus is Minsk. Poor Belarus. Belarus has been pummeled. And there's just, I mean, the die-off from all the things that radiation causes is off the hooks in Europe. That's why I said they want to get their hooks into Africa, and they're using China in order to get that done with the BRICS thing. That's why, in my firm conclusion, Daily Mail is bought out completely by China. All you have to do is just look at the headlines and see the pattern, and you'll see they never talk about anything that's really going on in China. And if they mention anything, it's always kind of like a singular thing, and then they'll immediately put something to bash black people or Africans right next to it. And that's why they also had the pro-Freemason thing up there. I mean, these people are really desperate. But I'm looking at the wind currents and where they're blowing, okay? We got that Chernobyl up over here, and the winds are blowing up around here. I think Moscow is up over here, but it's going on up into Belarus and to Minsk, and because it's all blowing down here, down to the Black Sea, and then right on straight up there. And then it's going to circulate still. It's going to hit Moscow eventually, because and you only need one atom, right? And then it just circles around. They keep, I mean, there were fires all around Chernobyl that Dr. Yuri Bandashevsky went and tested and found they were highly radioactive, and they didn't even turn the skies orange like the California fires did. Right? That's the reason why, yeah, they ain't building nothing over there unless they get a bunch of dupes, and most people are dupes, which reminds me of the other thing, that there's so much that I'll see, and I'm like, I gotta write my book. I don't have time to report it. But Queen Matilda, this is wild. plane carrying Queen Matilda, I don't know if that's how you pronounce the name, I don't listen to audio talking about them, forced to make terrifying emergency landing after windscreen smash. It wasn't smash, it just cracks from the Wigner effect. All right, they may blame a bird, and it could have been a bird, but at the same time, most of the times these days is from the Wigner effect, from all that damn radiation. Well, this wasn't reported in Daily Mail at all, or in most of the outlets. They've been busy reporting what they've been paid to talk about to keep us all distracted. And does it look like they were trying to incinerate the daggone thing? There's no like massive collateral damage. It looks like they could have taken a drill bit and just bore a hole in the side of the thing. And Russia knows all about Chernobyl. They were once in charge of the sucker. And that was how the IAEA, according to what was reported in the book, The Crime of Chernobyl, that's how they got in there. And that's why all the wall came down, why all of everything in Russia changed, because these international nuclear agencies had to take the Russian government down because they'd never dealt with just genocide and how you conduct it so that people don't know. And so there were truthful nuclear physicists and doctors that were trying to be helpful to the Belarusian people and everybody who had been affected by the fallout from Chernobyl. So they know what the heck that they're doing, and they would never just willy-nilly attack Chernobyl as if it wouldn't impact everyone, just like I showed. This is because otherwise that sucker would blow to smithereens, and it would be far more catastrophic to the world than if they just bore a hole in it and swore that, well, he was just joking about stopping the war with the Ukraine. No. In my conclusion, that entire war is being waged just so they could do this and make it look like it's no big deal, because the radiation was planned on targeting Black us, but it's been a little bit more complicated because they've run out of time and they've run out of ways to talk all of us into just having hissy fits all over the place like Jay-Z and P. Diddy. We're not by nature that depraved. And by the way, this is Queen Matilda. I'm glad nobody was hurt and her plane landed safely. I'm just saying, she the Queen of Belgium. I'm not saying that was deliberate, that was Wigner. But for them not to report on the Queen of Belgium almost being in a plane crash so that it would be everywhere, that's also a little bit on the strange side. Go on over to 25000yearcycle.org. Sister Nisha. Oh, I don't think you mind because you got a whole nother thing going on and I would never divulge any of that. But you put in another order. That is so confirming. Sister reordered the soap again, right? That means it's the second time, and I got other beautiful people, you who buy from me consistently because the products are real and genuine. You do the same with Dr. She's products because his products are going to heal you up, okay? Especially, you have to follow, and it's right up here, you don't have to pay nothing for it, the food list, okay? But I want to thank you, Sister Nisha. You reordered the silk hair cream. We love the silk hair cream. In my house, the reason why the silk, and actually I got it, the jar I use right here. Reason why I'm offering the silk hair cream again is because it works so well. I would feel like I was being mean to you not to have it available. And when it comes to the soap, oh my goodness, we keep using my soap. I have to admit my favorite is the Nzinga, but they're all amazing because they all have specific things they do to heal your skin. Yeah, when people reorder, that's because the stuff is amazing. All of it. My products, Dr. She's products, my books, let me get my face out the way. There, right down there, you can go to Let's Chat so that you can get that just fortification, that specific analysis. You go, if you want to, please go to your regular Western trained physician. But before you make any decisions whatsoever, call Dr. Shi. He tirelessly researches our melanated bodies so that you can understand what's going on with you in ways that that Western trained physician ain't going to begin to inform you. Okay? And yeah, you could just scroll on through and everything you need is right there in the indigenous apothecary, in our services, and he's got these hydrosols he's been working on, and he concentrates the organic herbs that have specific targeted actions for your skin. And he's like a fine, I wouldn't say connoisseur. He's like, you know, if you go to one of them Michelin 5-star rated restaurants and there's the chef there and he's world renowned, that's Dr. Shi. He studies what he does. He makes sure that the concentration is of a level that you cannot get it off of Amazon. You can't just go to any regular herbalist even and get the level of concentration and healing that he puts in every single one of his products. Right? So I'm just saying, this helps us to be there for you because we need folks who are just gonna be like that. No, this is the time to rise up and say, we're done with the crazy folks. We are moving on, we're separating, we don't need them anymore, and then prove it. Whew, this might actually be shorter than I thought it was. So, I love you, family. Straight black pride is our wealth. And I guess I'll be back in another week or long. I'm into writing the book, and I had to talk about this particular topics with the drone bombing of Chernobyl, because I know they do these things to freak everybody out when all of these nuclear facilities vent on a regular basis, or they would all explode. And those are the ones that they consider functional. Okay? I'm just saying, share the warning with all your family, because that's why they're freaking out. Because the truth is getting out there. And we are the ones who are going to bring the full, unabashed, unapologetically black us loving facts. Peace and blessings.